After learning about reactions of alcohols and phenols which involves cleavage of OH bond, now we can go for next set of reactions. So that is reactions which involve cleavage of CO bond in alcohols. Now very first we can start with which is that reaction which includes cleavage of CO bond. So that is reaction with hydrogen halides. When alcohols are made to react with hydrogen halide, they are going to result in the formation of alkyl halide. Now alcohol, it is represented by general formula ROH, and for hydrogen halide HX, and X stands for halogen, and it is resulting in the formation of alkyl halide. So actually here we can consider alcohols, particularly when they are made to react with concentrated HCl in the presence of anhydrous zinc chloride, then we can consider it as Lucas reagent. That means we are going to take one particular example. So when alcohol C2H5OH, when alcohol is made to react with concentrated HCl in the presence of anhydrous, ZnCl2, you are going to get the formation of C2H5 then Cl, C2H5Cl, plus there will be separation of water molecule OH, and here there is H. So due to this removal of OH, there will be absolutely breakage of bond between carbon and oxygen. So it results in the formation of ethyl chloride, that is nothing but alkyl halide, along with the formation of water. So that is why this specific reagent mixture, that is mixture of concentrated HCl and anhydrous zinc chloride, is particularly named as Lucas reagent. So now we can consider this specific example under the test named as Lucas test. So in this Lucas test, we are able to distinguish primary alcohols, secondary alcohols and tertiary alcohols. It is one of the best distinguished tests for alcohols. We can easily recognize either the given alcohol is primary or secondary or tertiary. Once you can consider, in general, when alcohols reacts with concentrated HCl, that is anhydrous zinc chloride as catalyst, and with the reagent concentrated HCl, actually they are soluble with this Lucas reagent. But of course, once they convert into the product, that is alkyl halide, these alkyl halides are immiscible. With water. Hence, you are going to get the formation of turbidity. In case if the given alcohol is tertiary alcohol, then once that alcohol is added with Lucas reagent, you mix it well, immediately you are going to get the formation of turbidity. That turbidity, if it is obtained immediately, that exactly gives us the information that given alcohol is tertiary alcohol. In case for another test tube which contains that alcohol when it is treated with Lucas reagent, suppose if you are getting turbidity only after few minutes, not immediately. So after few minutes, if you are getting slow process, if you are getting turbidity very slowly, then it indicates that given alcohol in that test tube will be secondary alcohol. So reaction is slow compared to that of tertiary alcohols. But in case of primary alcohols, these alcohols very less reactive with Lucas reagent. Hence we have to give the heat treatment. So in case in the test tube that alcohol and adding Lucas reagent, it won't react. It will not give any turbidity. But after heating, if you get that turbidity, then exactly it gives the information that given alcohol is primary alcohol. Then what is that order of reactivity for tertiary, secondary and primary alcohols? The order of reactivity of alcohols, different alcohols with Lucas reagent is tertiary alcohols are more reactive than secondary. Secondary alcohols are more reactive than primary alcohols. So this is one of the best distinguished tests for 3 types of alcohols. Now we can go for next set of reactions, which includes cleavage of CO bond in alcohols. So that is reactions of alcohols with phosphorus halides. What are these phosphorus halides? That phosphorus in combination with halogens like important phosphorus halides PCl5, PCl3, PBr3 and PI3. Phosphorus pentachloride, phosphorus trichloride, phosphorus tribromide, phosphorus triiodide. Now, if you start with reaction of alcohols with phosphorus pentachloride, it is one of the most important reaction you have to remember for examination. So now once you start with this phosphorus pentachloride, how this alcohol is going to interact with this PCl5. So now if you split this ROH group, so let me write ROH. Now there will be cleavage of bond between R and O and O and H. Now we can just distribute this ROH. Now H will combine with one Cl. Then R will combine with another Cl. Now oxygen will combine with phosphorus and along with 3 remaining chlorine. So we are end up with the formation of main product RCl alkyl chloride, then POCl3, then HCl. So in addition to the main product alkyl halide, that is alkyl chloride, you are going to get the side products HCl and POCl3. Now if you take one example, that is ethyl alcohol on reacting with PCl5, phosphorus pentachloride. When ethanol is treated with phosphorus pentachloride, what is that product obtained? In case of the asked question in examination like this, name the product obtained when ethanol is treated with phosphorus pentachloride. Obviously, you can give one word answer, which is that answer, that is chloroethane or ethyl chloride as an example. Or in case if they have given this reactants on left hand side, after arrow mark they will give just X. You can mention the main product, that is only ethyl chloride. Or they will give blank here and they can give that side products also. Anyway, if you go for the reaction of the same alcohols with phosphorus trihalides, which are those trihalides we are taking example? PCl3, PBr3 and another one is PI3. Of course, you remember among these trihalides PCl3, PBr3 and PI3, one of that reagents stable is PCl3. Phosphorus trichloride is stable reagent. We can directly use this PCl3. But for making this alcohol to react with bromine or iodine, these two compounds are unstable. So they cannot be preserved for long duration, that is phosphorus tribromide and phosphorus triiodide. So that they are prepared during the time of the reaction in situ, that is bypassing the mixture of phosphorus and bromine to get phosphorus tribromide. Similarly, to get phosphorus triiodide, they have to pass the mixture of phosphorus and iodine. And now in case if you start with how this alcohol is able to react with phosphorus trichloride, here you can easily guess when alcohol interact with phosphorus trichloride, obviously you will get the same product, that is alkyl chloride. But side product, you are getting only one side product, not HCl and POCl3, but here you are going to get H3PO3, phosphorus acid. So you just remember the difference between the reactions with the PCl5 and PCl3. Either they can ask interaction of alcohol with PCl5 or they can ask interaction of alcohol with PCl3 in examination. So you should be very much clear about writing correct products on right hand side. Now, what happens when methanol is treated with phosphorus trichloride in case if they ask? How do you explain? When methanol is treated with phosphorus trichloride, it results in the formation of methyl chloride. Then you will write the reaction, and in this case Here we can mention that since there is formation of H3PO3 here, so we need to balance hydrogen. Here we can write 3. If you write 3 here, 3ROH, then we have to mention 3RCl. So likewise, if you take methanol, methanol is converting into methyl chloride. So methyl alcohol or methanol is converting into methyl chloride with the help of phosphorus trichloride. Similarly, if you want to convert ethanol into ethyl chloride, we can take the help of PCl3. So when ethanol is reacting with phosphorus trichloride, you will get the formation of ethyl chloride. And in case if you want to prepare alkyl bromide, so it is one of the best method for preparation of alkyl halides by using phosphorus halides and alcohols. Now when alcohol reacts with phosphorus tribromide, that means when alcohol is treated with mixture of phosphorus and bromine, then you are going to get the formation of methyl bromide as a main product, and side product will be H3PO3. And similarly, if same methanol or methyl alcohol is treated with phosphorus triiodide, how you are going to get this phosphorus triiodide? That is, it is prepared in C2, that is by passing the mixture of phosphorus and iodine with methanol. So it is ending up with the formation of methyl iodide, that is iodomethane or methyl iodide. So you should be much specific about difference of the products on right hand side, either with PCl5 or PCl3. So all these are important reactions with respect to reaction of alcohols with phosphorus halides. Okay, next chemical reaction which involves CO bond cleavages, reaction of alcohols, that is dehydration of alcohols. The meaning of dehydration is removal of water. So there will be removal of H and OH group from the alcohols and they result in the formation of alkenes. So now if you want to convert alcohols into alkenes, we can subject it for dehydration process. So this dehydration process can be done with the help of the catalysts like, that is dehydrating agents, like we can take example concentrated H2SO4, then H3PO4, phosphoric acid, then anhydrous, zinc chloride, ZnCl2 and alumina. Now if you specifically take concentrated H2SO4, which helps for the conversion of alcohols into alkenes. Here I have given 3 sets of reactions. So I have taken example, first example primary alcohol, second example secondary alcohol and third example tertiary alcohols. Here you can find the difference with respect to the reagents what we are using and the conditions like temperature, it is varying from one reaction to another reaction. Now we can start with first example, that is ethyl alcohol. When ethyl alcohol is treated with excess of concentrated H2SO4, you just concentrate on whatever I am going to explain here. When ethanol is heated with excess of concentrated H2SO4 at temperature of 170 degrees Celsius, then it results in the formation of ethene. So here we can find OH group from one carbon atom and H from the another carbon atom, they are removed in the form of water, that is H2O. Hence the process is named as dehydration process. And what is that end product obtained here? That ethanol is converting into alkene, that is ethene, CH2 double bond CH2. And now if we come for second example, that is secondary alcohol, which specific example we are considering here? Isopropyl alcohol. So there is a branch in this structure. So hence it is named as isopropyl alcohol. Actually this is secondary alcohol, but the reactivity of secondary alcohols will be still more faster compared to primary alcohol. The reactivity will be more for secondary compared to primary. Hence, we can go for mild reagent. Other than concentrated H2SO4, you can use 85% of H3PO4 that is at temperature of 440 Kelvin. Or of course, if you don't use this reagent, we can directly use excess of concentrated H2SO4 without any temperature itself. But if you use that H3PO4 mild dehydrating agent, that is 85%, then you should maintain the temperature around 440 Kelvin. Then at these conditions, again there will be removal of OH and H. So that here we can find there is removal of OH group here, and here there will be removal of hydrogen from CH3 group. So that we are getting that bond between CH and CH2. Hence we are going to get the formation of alkene, that is propene. And there will be removal of water molecule, of course. And this isopropyl alcohol is more reactive compared to ethyl alcohol. Next example, tertiary butyl alcohol. It is tertiary alcohol. Since the carbon which is carrying OH group is attached to 3 alkyl groups, it is tertiary. But of course, as you can find this condition here the temperature will be lesser. It is 440 Kelvin here, but here it is 358 Kelvin. There is a reduction in the temperature, and even there is no need to increase that percentage of H3PO4. Rather, there is decrease in the percentage of H3PO4. Here we have taken 85% for H3PO4 in the previous case, but in this case we have taken 20% of H3PO4. So, when this tertiary butyl alcohol is treated with 20% phosphoric acid at temperature 358 Kelvin, it will undergo dehydration to give this compound, that is isobutylene or 2-methyl propene. So, there will be removal of OH from this side, that is OH which is attached to carbon. Here OH is removed, and from 1-methyl group there will be removal of hydrogen, one hydrogen atom in the form of water, that is H2O. Therefore, what is remaining here? CH3, C double bond CH2, and here there will be presence of CH3. So, we are getting that conversion into isobutylene. So, from this it is very much clear about this dehydration process. For dehydration process, what is the order of reactivity of alcohols in case of this? Then you should remember which are more reactive here. Tertiary alcohols are more reactive than secondary, which in turn more reactive than primary alcohols. So, that is regarding dehydration of alcohols with the help of concentrated H2SO4 or any other mild dehydrating agents. So, dehydration of alcohols with the help of concentrated H2SO4 can give alkenes. But the same dehydration of alcohols, that is primary alcohols with concentrated H2SO4 with different condition, it can also give ether. So, now we can go for that condition required for the conversion of alcohol into ether. Once concentrated H2SO4, that is in the previous reaction, primary alcohol, when it is heated with concentrated H2SO4 at 170 degrees Celsius, you are getting alkene as a main product. But here the same alcohol but in excess. In the previous case, concentrated H2SO4 was used in excess. But in this case, alcohol, primary alcohol, excess of primary alcohol, that is alcohol is used in excess. When excess of primary alcohol is treated with concentrated H2SO4 at 140 degrees Celsius, instead of getting alkene, you will get ether, and along with the formation of water. Hence, this is also considered as dehydration. So, you should be much careful enough regarding the conditions required for the conversion of alcohol into alkene or alcohol into ethers. that is possible with the help of same dehydrating agent, that is concentrated H2SO4. That is the main difference for the conversion of alkene and conversion of ether. One simple example you can take. If you take excess of ethanol or ethyl alcohol when it is heated with concentrated H2SO4 at what temperature? 140 degrees Celsius. So it will end up in the formation of ethyl diethyl ether. That means ethanol, if you consider two molecules of this ethanol, H from one molecule and OH from another molecule interact with each other and results in the formation of water, that is dehydration takes place, and remaining C2H5O combined with another C2H5 group and results in the formation of diethyl ether. That is how we are able to convert a primary alcohol into ether based on this condition. And similarly, if you go for the reaction with alumina, how alcohols can react with alumina as dehydrating agent, because even alumina, Al2O3, can also be used as dehydrating agent. So specific example I have considered here. When ethanol is treated with alumina at 360 degrees Celsius, then you are going to get the formation of ethene as the product. Here you can mention that specific temperature, it is around 360 degrees Celsius. Then you will get that conversion into ethene and with the formation of water. But in case the same ethanol is treated with alumina at 240 to 250 degrees Celsius, then excess of this ethanol will react to give diethyl ether. This is how you are going to get either alkene as the product or ether as the product based on different conditions.